In desperate need of a new trophy head for his wall, the Rat Lord Srok Skyreaver leads an expedition into the Savannah in search of a suitable beast. Setting out from base camp, he leads a hunting party determined to flush out his quarry. However, he's encroaching on the hunting grounds of a Beastmen Pride. A deadly competition begins. We have 200 points of Ratmen, made up of Srok Skyreaver, the Battlemaster, equipped for a hunt with a spear and a rat companion, Otis, Dr. Ratnik, the champion with a toxin gun, in case Srok bites off more than he can chew, 3 units of warriors to beat the bushes, and a death roller, the Ratmobile, to carry the prize back. The 200 point hunting pack from the Beastmen is led by Ironclaw, the Huntmaster, wielding dual hand weapons. 2 units of hunters, 1 with dual hand weapons and 1 with spears, a unit of raiders, and a brute to carry the kill back. The field itself is an area of dense woods and long grass, each of which provides cover and is difficult terrain. We are playing a beast hunters scenario, so 5 objectives are placed in likely hiding spots around the field, one of which will be the beast's location. We'll roll a dice to see who deploys on which side. On a 1 to 3, the beastman will deploy on the left. With a 5, the beastman will be on the right. I'll also roll now to see if either side gets a 6-inch deployment advantage. Red for the beastman and black for the ratman. If they get a 4+, their deployment area is extended by 6 inches. Both get a 3, so they'll use the standard 12-inch deployment. The beastmen are deployed with their hunters on the wings. Ironclaw, the brute and the raiders are in the centre. The ratmen deploy spread out along their deployment zone, the Ratmobile on the right wing, Srok supporting the right, and Dr. Ratnik supporting the left. Let's roll to see who goes first. It's the Ratmen with a 6. The first group of warriors advances into the woods, beating about to reveal their quarry.
Hunting! Hunting!
The dual weapon hunters mirror them, stalking through the long grass, searching for prey. They are not slowed by the difficult terrain, as they have the Strider rule. The blue Ratmen on the left advance into the woods, striking their shields and driving frightened critters before them, while the spear-armed hunters stalk through the long grass. More Ratmen warriors rush through the gap between the woods and rock to flush creatures from the long grass in the centre. Spotting the red hoods of the Ratmen through the long grass, the raiders creep forward and loose a handful of arrows towards them. 2 of the arrows disappear into the long grass, and 1 strikes a Ratman's shield, causing him to cry out in alarm. Srok rushes forward towards the commotion, halting before the long grass. Ironclaw rushes forward as well, nimbly wending his way through the grass, seeking the kill. The Ratmobile, unable to find a clear path, slowly rumbles through the woods. The Beastman Brute lumbers forward, not as nimble as his lighter companions. Dr. Ratnik scampers forward and, spotting movement of the grass, snaps off a pot shot towards Ironclaw. The toxic shell disappears into the grass. At the end of turn 1, all objectives within 3 inches of a unit are flipped. So, in the grass, nothing. In the woods, nothing. In the central grass, there it is, which means nothing in the second woods and nothing in the distant grass. Both sides gain a victory point for each objective they flip. If both sides have models within 3 inches, both sides get the VP. You get 2 for actually fighting the beast, but I forgot, so both sides get 1. And our big old beastie is revealed. The massive boar immediately charges the model closest to the objective. It bursts from the grass, furious at being disturbed, and tries to gore the Huntmaster before it. Ironclaw dives to the side, rolling out of the way of the lethal tusks, and reaching out with his right claw as the boar passes by. The claw rakes down the flank of the maddened boar, but its tough hide prevents the claw from biting deep, and it merely leaves a red scratch along the boar's side as it circles around to charge again. The Beastmen begin turn 2 as the Ratmen activated last in turn 1, and the Brute wades through the grass towards the boar. In a furious charge, he swings his axe, striking the beast hard in the shoulder, the axe momentarily becoming lodged in bone. The boar screams out in pain and turns viciously on the Brute, one of its tusks sinking into the Brute's thigh before tearing out in a spray of blood. The Brute bellows in pain and stumbles back from the beast. The red Ratmen warriors leap onto the boar from behind. This is Srok's prize, not these Beastmen's. They slash out with their swords. Some get tangled by the grass, but one lands a blow on the boar's rump, his blade skidding off the thick hide, and the boar whirls on them. The warriors leap back as the tusks spin round. One is almost caught, but he manages to get his shield in the way in time and is merely bowled over by the massive tusks. He scrambles quickly back to his feet. Ironclaw circles the boar and leaps on it from the side, claws punching out in a frenzy. Several strikes go wide as the boar flails about, but two puncture its hide and sink deep within the boar. It lashes out at the latest threat, and nimbly dodging one head, Ironclaw is struck by the second. Something cracks and he scrambles back, gasping and holding his ribs. Incensed by these impertinent beastmen stealing his prize, Srok leaps into the fray, his rat companion hot on his heels. Otis races round in front of the boar, nipping at its nose and keeping it busy, as Srok lines up and plunges his spear behind the boar's foreleg, the finely honed head puncturing heart and lung. Withdrawing behind his shield, he nods at a job well done, as the boar quickly loses consciousness and drops to the ground. The prize is his. Scoring 1 victory point per wound on the beast and 3 for landing the final blow, the Ratmen have scored victory in this scenario, but the Beastmen won't let them leave with their trophy without a fight. The spear-armed hunters rush out of the long grass towards the Rat's left flank. Dr. Ratnik reloads, repositions and fires at Ironclaw once more. Again his toxic shells are swallowed by the long grass. Screwing up the turn order, the green warriors on the right scramble out of the woods, and the dual weapon hunters charge out of the grass to meet them. They fall upon the Ratmen, a whirlwind of claws and knives. The Rat warriors hold them off with shield and sword, though one Ratman falls beneath the flurry of strikes. The Ratmen attempt to counterattack, but their swords are turned aside by sweeping daggers as the hunters are forced back. The blue warriors in the distance scurry out of the woods and rush the spear-armed hunters. Knocking spear points aside with their shields, they slash about with their swords. One strike looks good, but the hunter turns it with his shield at the last moment. Ducking aside, one of the hunters thrusts across with a spear, striking a warrior engaging another hunter above the shield and dropping him. The remaining Ratmen quickly scrabble out of reach. The bow-armed raiders shift across to get a better view, and then loose towards the red warriors in the centre. Their arrows disappear into the long grass once more. The Ratmobile, getting caught up in brambles, splutters out of the woods towards the action. Turn 2 ends with the boar getting absolutely trashed in the centre, the Ratmen able to snake the victory out from under the nose of the Beastmen. But the Beastmen are starting to get their revenge, beginning to whittle down the Ratmen forces. Turn 3 starts with the Brute once more, charging the Ratmobile before it can start to create chaos. In a furious assault, his axe buckles steel plate and splinters wood, but fails to damage anything vital in the machine. Gunning the engine, the Ratmobile's pilot lurches forward towards the Brute, who attempts to move to the side, but his injured leg betrays him. It buckles beneath him, and as he drops to a knee, the machine hits him, spiked rollers lacerating the Brute and knocking him to the ground. Stunned, but not yet out of the fight. In an act of supreme bravery and teamwork, the closest warriors fall upon the wounded Brute, swords hacking down as they finish off the stricken creature. Shocked by the brutality of the death roller, the dual weapon hunters circle the Ratmen warriors and leap at the machine, claws and knives slashing. The pilot ducks and weaves in his seat, and the sturdy construction weathers the assault before the pilot guns it once more. The hunters are ready for this though, and leap aside as the vehicle spins around. Srok chitters a challenge and charges the Huntmaster Ironclaw with Otis, his rat companion. As Otis clamps his teeth around Ironclaw's leg, Srok thrusts his spear forward and catches the Huntmaster, finishing what the boar began. The raiders loose arrows towards the Ratmen in the open, the shafts flying true and striking the warriors, killing one instantly and dropping the other to the ground stunned. Dr. Ratnik reloads and shifts around, firing his toxin gun at the spear-armed hunters. The toxic shell hits a shield rim and bursts in a cloud of poisonous gas. One of the hunters quickly ducks away in time, but two are overcome by the fumes and fall choking to the ground. The final spear hunter charges the Ratman before him, leaping and striking out with his spear. The rats duck aside before counterattacking. Shield out, the hunter turns one aside, but the other warrior sinks his blade into the hunter from behind and finishes the final spear hyena. The Ratmobile spins on the spot and careens towards the dual weapon hunters. Its charge results in 3 automatic impact hits, followed by a 4th as the Ratmobile grinds around. Prepared for the attack, the hunters duck aside, avoiding the spinning wheels of the contraption, before leaping back towards the pilot. Their blades sink home and the pilot is dragged from his seat as the roller continues pilotless into the grass. Giving the wild machine a wide berth, the red Ratmen attack the hunters from behind. But caught in the grass and keeping an eye on the unpredictable Ratmobile, the warriors are unable to strike the hunters. Tiring, the hunters slash back at the Ratman warriors, but to no effect. Finally, the blue warriors on the left flank rush up around the long grass towards the Beastmen raiders. At the end of turn 3, the Beastmen had a really bad time and are broken. The raiders immediately failed their morale test and bolt for home, while the dual weapon hunters are keen to stick around. But seeing the way the wind is blowing, the Beastmen will call it quits there and total victory will go to the Ratmen.
Pride Lord, they've killed Ironclaw.
Then we shall bring them pain.